I want to know how many. There's a guy was on there telling me the story about these saws. I think it's time for me to tell you the story how I got it. I got it from eBay. The old guy told me this is a rare model. He had it actually up for 500 bucks, and but I'm gonna tell you the difference between. Let's get past my 210 right here, because I got both the John Deere's in the building right now. Let's get to the story about the Super 250. Tell you the difference. So, this is how you can identify this as a 67 Super 250, the first production one. So, first off, the gunshot pipe will make you understandable that is a 67, because only in 67s, before the regular McCulloch 250 came out, when it first came out in 1959, which is the 150, had the same exact exhaust pipe. And the 146 has the same exhaust pipe as this. And the 147. And the 145. So, the 250 didn't come out until like 1961. Because 61 was the first year of the gunshot pipes. In that hand. They made over close to maybe about 4,500 of the regular McCulloch 250s. It's more than these, but the regular 250 should be worth over $200 because they only made about 4,500 of those saws. This is a saw that people should end up trying to sell, is the 67 Super 250. Now, why is this saw more rarer than any else saw out there? Well, let me explain it here. Let me get this out of my home light so I don't hurt that handlebar. It's a really, really good shape handlebar on that home light right there. 150. Oh, this thing's a heavy beast. If I had to pick a saw up every day, I'll pick it up every day. I cut firewood with it yesterday for you guys to do a run video on. But as you see, the 67 is going to have a full yellow starter cover, but the 68s, this is when things start to change. The 68s are the same exact color as this, except the starter cover is painted black. And this doesn't exist anymore. The last year the gunshot pipes was right in 67. So, in 1968, they started throwing round exhaust pipes on these instead of the 1967s. The 67s was going to be the last final gunshot pipe ever out there. I like the sound of the gunshot pipes better than the round pipes. I know the round pipe sound gives like a more girthier sound, but I still like these here too. I like the gunshot pipes better. I don't know what it is. I like more louder saws. I like the gunshot pipe better. Meaning this saw right here is the rarest saw out there. It's not fully rarer than a 440 and a 440 Super McCulloch or a McCulloch 125. Yes, it is true they only made about 1,500 of these saws out there. And they only made there's another rare saw in the Super 250 era, which is the last call model, which is the 74 Super 250s. Then you get this. Well, I try to explain it for you. The 68s and 69s are going to be totally different. The 68s is still going to have the yellow cover, but the starter cover is what's going to get you if it's a 68. So that's how you can tell if it's a 68 model. But this here's a 1967, so this is the first year of the Super 250 when it released out in the production. Well, you can only get this model in Canada. You cannot get this saw in the U.S. because this saw was not released out in the U.S. After when McCulloch moved from Canada, on the west side of Canada. Oh, I don't know how would they say. I don't know how Canada would say it. I don't think Canada won't like what I say. They'll probably get offended by that. Same time as the West Coast. West Orland. I don't know how to say, but I'll just say the West Side. But over the West Side, if you guys will know what I'm trying to say here is these saws are also the carburetors will also have paint on. But it still has paint on a little bit. They had the same exact. People don't like the carburetors painted on these because the paint will always chip off, but this carburetor used to be all painted up yellow. Now let me explain it to you. I've seen so many Super 250s, even regular McCulloch 250s. I guess they done that way back in the early 50s when they used to make, make very, very powerful saws, which is the regular McCulloch 250. But in the Will Acre site, I think they need to fix their thing because 74 was not the first year of the Super 250s. It was 1967 was. That's what that old guy told me when I bought this saw. He gave me a little bit of story about this saw, how he got it. He got off his brother. And his brother told him stories also about this saw, how rare this model is. And this exact model is a pretty rare model. He even said it himself. He was trying to get $500 out of this saw. I actually even seen this saw one to 500, and he knocked it down completely all the way to $100 because no one would bid on this saw. So I had like 3 people bid it on me. I can't believe it that people didn't realize that this saw was a pretty rare model. But if they probably wanted, they're probably just going to flip it and sell it, try to get over $1,000 out of it. Because not today, because I'm the one who bought it now. So hopefully this saw here will be passed down to family generations, and I'm going to keep it for a very, very long time because this has been my dream saw. It will have a 38-inch bar. I'm going to get rid of that. It's going to have a 30-inch bar. I'm not going to put a 38-inch, but I'm going to put a 30-inch. It's Lincoln oil because where I flipped it upside down. Should never done that. Should just drained the oil out, but it'd be alright. It'll drain itself out. But the choke, you just slide it that way, pull back that way, you slide it back this way. It's super easy. I like this easy choke system they came out with. McCulloch was really, really thick on the choke system right here. I like that. You just flip it up. Manual drive's right here, where your thumb is. I like it. I like it. I'm used to this. I'll be used to this every day. Just hit the throttle. That's pretty nice. We will put some oil in this to see if this thing will oil the bar, but I don't know if it would or not. This has a big Guthrie clutch, the first year of the Guthrie clutch they came out with, which is the four-way clutch they came out with, which is a more stronger clutch. It can handle up to about lots of pressure on the clutch. But why is this model pretty rare? Well, it's just a year. 67 was the first year of these. We didn't get the Super 250 introduced until 1968 in the U.S. because they moved from Canada in 59. So 59, they went up to Canada, see if they can do a little more better business up there. They filed for 11 bankruptcy after they went in Mexico. They were in Arizona, then they moved from Canada to Nebraska, and they moved from Nebraska to Canada, back again twice. They moved from Mexico. They moved the factory to Mexico to see if they can do better there, to sell their saws better there. So they didn't have a chance to buy that there, so yeah, they moved the factory up to Canada, west side of Canada, west coast of Canada. You understand, the Super 250, the yellow cover ones are going to be more rare than the black covered ones. The black cover ones was the ones we got in the U.S., and the yellow cover ones we didn't get in the U.S. I don't know why we didn't get those saws in the U.S., but you can always ask Robert McCulloch that, but he's done passed away. If he was still alive, he'd probably tell the same exact thing, probably. It's a shame he passed away, though, a long time ago, like around the mid-'80s. He passed away, and that's when, McCulloch fell through and the business gave up and sold a brand to Husky and Poulin. So Poulin makes their engines for him now. It's not made by McCulloch, their own brand anymore. They're made by Poulin. The Poland series. So yeah, all the engines you're going to see now on the McCullochs now going to have the same exact piston. That's what's on their McCulloch now. Which is going to make them even more shittier. But the older ones, they were much more better in its time being this thing's got a full wraparound bar for being the first year of these saws that ever came out. I can't believe I got a 60s chainsaw. I thought I was going to get me a 74, 71 at least, or 69 at least. But I seen this one still in the market. I just had to get it. I knew this model was going to be a rare model, and I knew the minute that guy just told me that, he said, well, I wish you luck on this saw. This saw's going to hold a lot of value. And it's going to keep increasing too. So that's crazy. This boot right here. This guy really, really will take well care of the saw, but he didn't take care of the carburetor. He didn't rent it like per monthly. I can tell you that right now. He said he was 7 years old. He had a hard time starting this. He says he really didn't want to bust his wrist to get it to start up. He said this thing had spark on it. He said he almost broke his wrist that day. Almost broke my wrist yesterday pulling on it. I thought I was going to snap my wrist in place a little bit, but I don't care if it snapped my wrist. I still love the saw no matter what.